body, body, ooh, body, body, yeah.
What's up, my guardian angels? Welcome back to my channel. I have not said that phrase in over a year, and I'm just realizing now how much I miss saying that and how much I miss you guys. I know that you guys already got a video from me last week, but I'm actually recording this before I record that video. So yeah, this is my first time recording something in 4 months. And I just miss being able to sit down and talk to you guys. Usually I kind of did that on my lives since I was not doing as many unfiltered videos anymore. And when I say unfiltered, I mean like I did not script them. But now that I think about it, I'm like, I really miss being able to just sit down and talk to you guys about what I'm thinking with what's going on in K-pop. If you missed my post on the 27th, okay. I'm recording this before the post goes up, so now I don't remember if I scheduled it for the 27th or the 28th. Let me check. Okay, it's the 27th. If you missed my community post on the 27th, I explained that I feel as if I don't have time to talk about some of the ongoing cases that happen in K-pop that don't necessarily need a carefully written script. And a lot of the times people will request me to talk about these topics and I just never have the chance to talk about them. So I'm kind of using this series to be able to talk to you guys about these things. In fact, in every episode that I release, I'm going to leave a document, which is basically a suggestion box for topics that you guys want me to talk about. And there'll also be a section for questions, if you guys have any questions for me that I can answer at the end of each episode. And to keep myself accountable, every document will also have a date on when the next episode will be, so I'll be able to keep up with this, because I can already sense some of you are ready to roast me and say, Cheryl, you cannot keep up with the series that you have right now. The last thing you need is another series. But I promise you this time I'm actually going to keep track, because I will be giving you dates for when the next episode will be. And also this year, I'm going to try my best to fulfill some of the episodes that I've promised you guys that I haven't had the time to complete because of just my very busy schedule and sometimes procrastination issues. So I hope you guys enjoy kind of like this type of videos with the unscripted stuff, because I know that some of you really miss that. And I personally, for selfish reasons, I also miss being able to just sit down and chat with you guys and not have to think about how to say something or how to express myself in a script. Also, when I'm recording these episodes, I want you guys to know that I will be adding on some things. So there's some stuff that will be on this video that is recent information, even though I'm recording this before my previous video. So I don't just record everything in one sitting, just know that. So if there's any new developments to a story, I might end up adding more information to that. So don't be confused, like, how did you record this in February, but you know what happened on the 6th of March or something like that. So yeah, that's what this little series is about. And without wasting any more of your time, let's get into it. So I've decided to put this story at the beginning because I figured this is the hot topic. It's actually March 7th when I'm recording this, and I've woken up to some news that everybody is losing their minds over on the situation with Adore versus the members of newjeans, who I believe go by NJZ now, whatever that means. And today the case is over hanni's alleged issue of ostracization against Illit's manager. So initially when hanni told this story, it was last year, I believe, she was on a live where she claims that she came across 4 members of Illit at an elevator, that the 2 of them greeted each other as they usually do, but then she ended up seeing the girls later on coming out of a styling room, or she said at a styling room, and right in her presence, she said that the manager told the members of Illit to ignore her and pretend she does not exist, or pretend she is not there. Now, this situation was such a big deal that it ended up going to the National Assembly. In the National Assembly, where she sobbed and cried about the situation, where she talked about how it made her wonder if Hybe hates them, etc., and how difficult the whole case was. First and foremost, I have no idea why this has to go to the National Assembly. I have no idea why she did what she did, and she was sobbing throughout the entire time. The then elected CEO, since Min Hee-jin was no longer CEO at the time of the National Assembly, when she got there, she was hit with the tough questions. The people who were questioning both her and hanni seemed to be newjeans fans. Some of them had Min Hee-jin stickers on their laptop. It was clear that this was a situation meant to prop up newjeans as victims of ostracization from Hybe. And they really put the CEO through the ringer. The way hanni was looking at her was Honestly, the best way I can describe it, it was genuinely disgusting. And watching her making this issue about being ostracized while then turning around and taking pictures with a CEO whose company is quite literally being questioned right now because of negligence. They have had employees die, and people think that it is because of negligence. They have broken workplace violations, like 60 of them or something, and were forced to stop operations at one point for a month because of it. So seeing her making a big deal out of this situation is just incredibly wild. More importantly, she vocalized this case on a live that happened right close to Illit's comeback, which again made things incredibly difficult, which right now it's not really surprising that LE SSERAFIM is being name dropped in this court situation that is supposed to be about them and Adore, and LE SSERAFIM is being name dropped while they're preparing for a comeback. We've seen this tactic before. It seems malicious, and that's to put it mildly. Okay, but based on the text messages that hanni herself provided where she related the incident to Min Hee-jin, it's got a few people asking some questions about the way the story went about. When she told Min Hee-jin what happened, she claims that, like she told us, she met them at the elevator, they greeted each other, everything was fine. Then she says when the members were coming out of the makeup room, she heard the manager say something like, ignore her, she heard the manager say something like, just keep walking or pretend she's not there, something along the lines. I'll put the screenshots of the conversation on the screen and you can judge for yourself. That is what she told them. She told Min Hee-jin that she did not remember the exact wording, which makes sense. hanni is not Korean, so she's probably not fluent in Korean, but she said she did not remember the phrase. And Min Hee-jin then starts asking her what was the phrase that they used. Was it ignore her? That was not the initial phrase that she used to tell Min Hee-jin, but I guess Min Hee-jin was trying to jog her memory to see if she remembered the phrase that was used, to which she said that she honestly doesn't know. She later on told Min Hee-jin that she understands why things would be awkward between her and Illit because of the quote-unquote media rivalry between them, which, if I'm going to be honest, I think it's more than just a rivalry. And if we're going to be honest, I think Illit were the ones who were at a disadvantage here. So to just call it a media rivalry is just wild and is minimizing what Illit was actually going through. But Min Hee-jin continues to ask her, was the phrase ignore her used, and did Illit actually ignore you? But anyway, that is the screenshot that she provided in court. The problem, however, is that in that situation, she told Min Hee-jin that she thought the case was just funny and ridiculous and it was silly, and she didn't think that it was that big of a deal. But when she presented it in her live and in the National Assembly, she presented it like it was a real case of ostracization and workplace bullying. So for her to then stand in court and turn around and say, actually, I don't really remember what happened, I just thought it was funny, is wild, seeing the downfall that came after that. And for newjeans fans who are defending her, saying, oh, it was never about Illit, it was about the manager. Was it really? Was it though? Because some of the things you people said about Illit, I will not be repeating here. You guys made wild claims about them being vile people, disgusting human beings, things of that nature. I mean, it was sickening to watch. And all of this went down while Illit was preparing for a comeback. It got so bad that the girls questioned their CEO if he had done something wrong, and perhaps maybe that's what they were paying for. That's the price they were paying for. They were scared to even go in public and perform. That is how bad the situation was. So for her to sit in court and giggle about it, right, and then say, well, I don't really remember what happened. Actually, it was never that serious. After you went to the National Assembly and made it a serious situation, it is wild. This is what actual bullying looks like. Taking advantage of a situation that is already bad and trying to make it worse. And then she brings these screenshots to the court as if she was sympathizing with Illit. Because if she was sympathizing with Illit, she would not have done what she did, going to the National Assembly and all of that. It is very odd and such strange behavior, to say the least. I am being as mild as I possibly can. Because if I'm being honest, that behavior was genuinely vindictive. What's more frustrating is that after everything went down in court, she called out Hybe on the newjeans Instagram stories, where she claims that Hybe was spinning the narrative for themselves. She claims that she remembers everything that happened. She says she remembers everything that happened and she simply held back in court. So you lied in court? Is that your claim? And more importantly, she said that she held back because she did not want to make the situation worse than it already was. What are you talking about? You went to the National Assembly. You paraded this case of ostracization in front of the entire nation. How could you possibly make it any worse? It's wild to me that newjeans fans are shocked that a lot of people, illit fans especially, are questioning this. And more importantly, LE SSERAFIM fans are upset that LE SSERAFIM has been name dropped in this situation that has nothing to do with them, spreading false information about how there's preferential treatment between them and LE SSERAFIM when LE SSERAFIM had a less budget than them during debut. These girls were on the 16th floor of the Hype building, and more importantly, they got the Louis Vuitton ambassadorship because of Sakura, which happened in April of 2022 when we didn't even know that newjeans existed. So claiming that apparently Louis Vuitton wanted to work with them and then it was stolen from under them and given to LE SSERAFIM when the real reason why LE SSERAFIM have it is because of Sakura is so strange. These people are incredibly weird. They're sitting in court and taking situations that are not that serious and parading them to the public and claiming that this is proof that Hype doesn't like us. That's your proof? That allegedly one manager said something that you don't really remember in the context that you do not understand, but now you automatically remember on your Instagram stories. That does not make any sense. I do not know why hanni is shocked that there is so much backlash from this situation or why newjeans fans are going out of their way to try and defend her. It's crazy to me. This behavior is indefensible. It is genuinely disgusting, and I cannot even believe that illit had to suffer in silence putting up with all of this. It's so hard to be quiet when you know the truth and you can disprove it, but because people already have a negative bias towards you, there's nothing you can do to change that. I can't imagine how badly these girls were suffering in silence. And the lack of empathy where those girls are concerned within the public, it's so telling. It is so telling. Anyway, next topic. So I'm recording this and it is the 4th of March and I am reacting to some of the comments on the video that I posted a few days ago for you guys, and y'all are so upset with me for not liking Rose's album. It's sick. Okay, starting off by addressing these claims of it's so obvious that you're Lisa biased. Yes, Lisa is my bias. That is not a secret. Lisa has been my bias since I started standing Blackpink in June of 2018. It is not a secret. However, that argument does not work here because this is not Lisa's first album. She released Lisa and Money in 2021, I believe, and I have done nothing but drag those songs. I hated those songs with every fiber of my being. Lisa was my bias then, she is my bias now, nothing has changed. I absolutely despised that album, and I dragged it for all it's worth because I think the album was terrible. So to say, well, you're Lisa biased is not the argument that you think it is. But while we're on the topic of bias, I think we need to address something very important here. There are some biases where the members of Blackpink are concerned, and I touched on this a little bit on the video that I made about Lisa, saying why people don't like this new Lisa. And it's the fact that so many people tend to put idols in a box based on what they bring to the table in their groups. And with Rosé, so many people have hailed her as the musically inclined member. She is the one who cares about music. I even remember the time when Blackpink was being attacked for being quote unquote models and not real artists. And I remember during that time period, Rosé was never part of that discussion. Plenty of people said Rosé actually really cares about music. That was one of the big defenses. And I think that that level of bias, along with the negative bias towards Lisa, especially where her first album was concerned, and the fact that vocally she's not the most vocally talented member of Blackpink. And I think that negative bias really plays into now judging Lisa's album. And it's frustrating to me that Rosé would release an album that at least I personally consider flat and enthusiastic, right? And so many people will go, well, no, you're supposed to like Rosé's album. And when I ask why, they say, well, because it's vulnerable. Rosé, when she announced this album, said that she wanted us to feel closer to her, to get to know her. And I didn't get to know anything about her except that she's had some breakups that she's upset about. The album did not do what she said it was set out to do. Compare it to Lisa. Lisa wanted to introduce us to the 5 different sides of her using alter egos, which she did. Lisa also mentioned that she wanted this album to make people feel confident. I think this was an interview with Spotify, which it did that for me. I do feel confident when listening to Lisa's album. But more importantly, and I think I should note that the way the album was composed, the songs, the way they played with the instrumentals, the mixing, and the way her voice was used for the songs that she chose for this album, it was done magnificently. I was not a fan of the writing, which is something that I've already mentioned. I was not the biggest fan of the writing. However, the songs in themselves were fun and exciting to listen to. Other arguments that I've seen is that, oh, Lisa, all she sings about is money. She has egocentric music, which is wild to me because up until now, all of the all of the singles that Jennie has released have been about herself. Herself being, above all the haters and better than all of us, how she is a pretty girl and she makes a mantra about it, how she's riding fast cars and foreign cars. So was it fast cars or foreign cars or whatnot? Her music is also egocentric, but nobody would claim that for Jennie because she is basically placed on a higher pedestal than Lisa. For some reason, when it comes to Lisa, we have to talk about how egocentric her music is. Rosie is talking about her relationships. It also revolves around her. We could use that same argument for Rosie, but we're not allowed to do that because she's the musically inclined member. Third, Lisa does sing about love. She has songs where she sings about love. When I'm With You is about letting her guard down around someone that she likes. You have Dream, where she's reminiscing of a love that happened in 29 in Tokyo, which, by the way, damn girl, what happened in Tokyo? Then you have songs about self-worth and confidence, right? We have Lifestyle, we have Rapunzel, we have her being a villain, which is Fuck Up the World, and Thunder. It's not just her singing about her money. If you don't like it, that's fine. But if you're going to accuse her of doing egocentric music, I think that you should extend that criticism to everyone else. I did not enjoy Rosie's album because I felt like it did not bring out her best qualities in the music. The writing felt flat and boring. At times, it wasn't even that I didn't like the song. I did not like the song for her voice. So her voice did not do something for me. This album had 12 songs, I think. Was it 12 or 15 songs? 12 songs. And I like 2 songs. I like Game Boy and Apata, and that's just about it. That's all I can remember that I enjoyed from this album, and maybe 3 a.m. So that makes it 3 songs. So if I only like 3 out of 12 songs, maybe that's not a good album, and I just don't enjoy it. And for those of you who are saying, well, she's doing it for the arts instead of the charts, oh my God, I don't know how I should put this. For those of you who think that artists, when they make music, they do not care about charting, you are lying to yourself. No person who puts that much effort and creativity in their work doesn't care if it flops or not. That is not true, and I don't think that is realistic. Artists put a lot of effort into their work, and if Rosie put as much effort as you guys claim she did, saying that she just doesn't care whether it does well in the charts or not is wild. And I think some of y'all are lying to yourselves to use that as an argument against people who do not enjoy the album. So yeah, these are my reasons for not liking Rosie's album. It's not because I'm Lisa biased and I just hate Rosie or I'm a Rosie hater. You guys are exhausting. Okay, I do not hate the girl. I want her to succeed. It's part of the reason why I was so unhappy with her marketing strategy. Not because, I'm just a hater. It's because I want her to do well, because I think she has what it takes to be one of the biggest K-pop artists to ever break the Western market. I think she genuinely has what it takes if her marketing team does the right thing. So to just assume that this is because I hate Rosie, y'all are making me lose hope in humanity, okay? You need to grow up and you need to get some nutrients in your body because you have to be deficient of something to behave like this, okay? Next topic. So Olivia Marsh, who is Danielle's older sister, was caught in a plagiarism situation. The artist who claimed that his song was plagiarized vocalized his opinions on Instagram, and he was met with, oh my God, plenty of insane comments, racist comments, homophobic comments. It was the whole 9 yards. And the crazy thing is that somehow he apologized for vocalizing this publicly, which is crazy, and not dealing with things privately. I don't know. Olivia, I think, is credited as a producer on the song. I'm not really sure. But it seems as if the company has conceded to that the song was plagiarized. Well, I mean, what they said was they think that Isaac, who's the artist, his claims had merit. So, which basically means the song was plagiarized, whatever. And during the time when her company had not said anything, he received so much hate and it was disgusting. A lot of people, of course, stood up for him, mainly people who were not exactly the biggest fans of newjeans, but they stood up for him nonetheless. However, he got a lot of harassment from the fans who were constantly moving the goalposts, saying that the songs weren't even similar. And then they changed the conversation to his company sold the song without telling him. And I mean, it was just ridiculous. He got a ton amount of hate. And then after that, when the company admitted that there were similarities and there was merit to his complaints, everyone started praising the company for quote unquote handling plagiarism accusations well. This goes to the root of everything wrong with newjeans fan base. What do you mean that this is how you handle plagiarism accusations well? Honey, you should not be plagiarizing people's work. When you blatantly plagiarize somebody's work, apologizing and making sure the person is properly compensated is the bare minimum. It is not something that we are supposed to praise people for. And for those who did praise her company, for those newjeans fans specifically, I'd like to pause a question. Let's just say Hybe did plagiarize. I don't believe that they did, obviously. But let's just say that they did. And then they admitted it. We did plagiarize it. Would you be praising Hybe for handling this properly? The answer to that is no. The only reason why you're doing this is because this is Danielle's sister. Her parents spent an entire year terrorizing a bunch of kids for wearing hanboks and having black hair. Okay? And so now that you move the goalpost where the members of newjeans or their family is concerned is wild. You people are biased and it is painfully pathetic. I think this was such an unfortunate situation for Olivia to see her parents completely lose their minds over hanboks only for her to then plagiarize somebody's work. It was pathetic to see. It was. Next topic. Soyeon. Listen, you guys, I tried to tell y'all this and nobody believed me. The first time Soyeon pulled this stunt of going to award shows and calling them out, what did I tell you? I told you that Soyeon wanted to be the next G-Dragon so bad. I did. And y'all got so mad at me. You said, Cheryl, you were doing too much. You know what my only crime is on this channel? I tell you things ahead of time and y'all get upset with me. And then like a year later, 7 months later, you realize I was right. That is my only crime on this channel. Truly. Because, oh my gosh. Soyeon went and called out Cube at an award show only to tell everybody that she had re-signed her contract with Cube. And then a few days later, she covered a G-Dragon song. The reason why this looked bad, especially for Netherlands who were defending Soyeon, the reason why this looked bad is because it didn't feel seamless and natural. G-Dragon has called out Mama before. Mamamoo has done it too. And for them, it felt seamless. It was obvious that there was some mistreatment going on. That's one thing. And for another, it felt authentic because it didn't seem like there was an ulterior motive behind it. Soyeon calling out Cube feels weird because for months even, people were speculating if Soyeon was ever going to re-sign her contract with Cube. And so her calling them out, knowing that she's re-signed the contract only to tell us that she did, it just comes off as disingenuous and planned to get a viral moment. Which, don't get me wrong, viral moments are not bad. They are not terrible. But when it is obvious that you were planning for one, it looks ridiculous. I mean, just... it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. And let's just say when she covered the G-Dragon song a few days later, I was not surprised because I told y'all years ago that Homegirl was trying to be the next G-Dragon and y'all got upset with me. You just don't like it when a woman, is doing something powerful. That's not true. Mamamoo called out Mama before, and I didn't have an issue with it then. It has nothing to do with women, okay? What she did, she did not plan this accurately. I think there's a way that she could have done this that looked and felt authentic, and that would have gotten the public talking about her in a positive way. And just putting it out there, if she really wants to be the next G-Dragon, if my observation is correct, you're gonna have to do a lot more than that because G-Dragon is more than just calling out companies at award shows. He's a lot more than that, as an artist at least. Jisoo and Minnie's albums came out, and I did talk about this in my script for the video that you guys are going to get first, but I thoroughly enjoyed these songs because I feel like these girls found their sound. I love that Minnie took time with this album because all these songs just, they reflect her so well as an artist, not just in sound, but I feel like in style as well. I feel like there's just parts of her that didn't really come out in Jado, which is, I'm not saying that is a bad thing because this is a group project, obviously. So you really have to consider everyone. But on a personal level, it felt like a personal project. And I love how her voice just suited all the songs that came out. Cherry Sky is my favorite song. I enjoy it thoroughly. I listen to it all the time. And Blind Eyes Red, which, I mean, automatically I feel like I would like the song because I like Chase Atlantic. So of course I was going to like the song. And so many people are like, oh, this is giving Chase Atlantic in a good way. And so I enjoyed the song. I enjoyed the album. I was so happy that she collaborated with 10. I freaking love 10 so much. And so I was like so happy that they got to work together and the song was magnificent. And she even gave us, was it Valentine's Dream? And the song was just so dreamy. Like I want this in a drama. Like I'm so serious. She sounded perfect. Jisoo's album was just as perfect. And I think she did a good job of giving us what the album was supposed to be about, which is a love montage. So she goes through the 4 stages of a relationship and I thoroughly enjoyed all the songs. Earthquake was something that I never expected Jisoo to do, but she did such a great job. And her channeling 2010s nostalgia for Your Love and Hugs and Kisses was everything. Her voice is so perfect for that style of music. I mean, I will be blasting these songs during summer. I will be enjoying them thoroughly. I love to see when artists make music that caters to them and their voices, which Seulgi's album is coming soon and I have seen the trailer and I'm just like losing my mind. I cannot wait for that album to come out because I also loved her first album. I just love it when artists stay true to themselves, but they also branch out a little bit. And I think you can find a balance between the two. And I really, really enjoyed these albums. And again, I did not enjoy Jisoo's album because I'm biased towards Jisoo, like some of you people claimed in the comments, okay? The album was just good. That's it. So leave me alone, okay? Leave me alone. So this situation with riize is also something that happened during my hiatus, and I have to say that it is disheartening to see. It really is. The video of Sanghan walking through the funeral wreaths was, I think it's something that's been etched in my mind. And I don't know what else to say. I really don't, because what am I supposed to say? We should not be canceling idols for having lives before becoming idols, for making mistakes they've made when they were younger. Like, what do you want me to say that has not already been said about this? It is exhausting, and I cannot believe that the situation blew up the way that it did. I'm also not really surprised because I don't like the way SM had him apologizing frequently all the time. I think that we really have to be careful about giving bullies what they want, which is oftentimes not attention. You will be surprised sometimes at how there are different types of bullies, right? There's some where you have to confront them. There's some where you should just ignore them and not give them the time of day. And I feel like having him apologize for something that was not wrong in the first place gives the bullies so much power. And I was just not happy with the way they handled the situation. And also putting them on hiatus. You guys know how I feel about having groups go on hiatus whenever there's like a ridiculous scandal of this nature. I feel like you are making everyone get used to the group without the person. And when they see positive feedback, they go, oh, it's probably best maybe that you shouldn't go back to this group at all. And toying with the fans' hearts by saying he's coming back, only for them like a few days later to be like, yeah, actually, no, we're done with him, is disgusting, truly. And I know that he still is under contract with SM. I think that they're planning on a solo or something like that. But taking away his friendships that he built with these guys during his time where they're training with them, preparing for the albums that they have released, I think it is so unfair. And this speaks to the dangers of just giving bullies what they want. Whatever happened to not giving bullies what they want? This is not normal behavior. But it is what it is. It's just sad all around, really. It really is sad. And I know that a lot of people said that we should boycott the group and whatnot, but these things are very difficult to do. They are. It's hard to boycott an entire group of people at the expense of one person. Do I think that if these boycotts happened this way, they would work successfully? Of course they would. But I feel like they're difficult because making all the other members suffer for one person is not really something that a lot of international fans are willing to do. K-nets don't seem to have a problem with it, but a lot of international fans, this is not something that they can easily do. So I understand why the boycott did not work. The whole Riize 7 boycott didn't work. But yeah, the situation is just disheartening all around. There's nothing that I can say that has not been said already about this. Quit giving bullies power. Let idols have normal lives. I think I'm going to put this topic last. I don't really know what else I'm going to talk about, but I feel like I'm just going to put this topic last to close off everything. We have gotten to an age where it is normalized to blame hype and hype groups for everything, and it is getting exhausting. And one of the biggest perpetrators of this situation are Baby Monster fans. You people, we cannot stand you. This is not okay. From bullying illit and complaining that they are the reason why Baby Monster is not being recognized at award shows is crazy. Tell your faves to make good music. I'm sorry, I know this sounds awful, but tell them to make good music. YouTube views do not win awards. Okay? They don't. And half of them are like ads anyway. This is not normal behavior, you guys. How on earth did illit release an actual global hit, make history by entering the Billboard Hot 100 with a debut? How did they make a hit that everybody was so madly obsessed with, and they continue to be obsessed with, despite the fact that they were going through a hate train, only for y'all to be like they don't deserve to be called Rookies of the Year? Baby Monster is supposed to be called Rookies of the Year for what? For what? You guys, you know that even Mama had to sabotage hype groups so that these girls would not win Song of the Year. Because we all saw what happened, right? Le Sserafim's Perfect Night was removed for no reason, as big as that song was. And then the judges' score was increased from 30% to 40%, which would make it easier for a certain group to win. I'm not saying that Supernova did not deserve Song of the Year. It makes sense that they won, but we're not going to sit here and pretend that had certain things not been tweaked around, Le Sserafim would have the award right now. But I'm not allowed to say that because hype groups are awful and we're all just supposed to blame them for everything. This is wild. You know what? For some of you, hype is not as obsessed with you as you think they are. Last time I checked, hype is probably obsessed with groups that are actual threats. And not to be a bitch, but Baby Monster does not count. Okay? Look, I think the girls are doing a great job. I think the girls are excellent performers. Hang on, because I just remembered the way their drip performances looked. But individually, I think they are wonderful performers. I think they're incredibly talented. Asa is something else. I cannot tell you how freaking amazing that girl is, just as an artist overall. However, to say that somehow those girls are such a threat that hype groups are trying to block them from getting what they want, when you saw how disadvantaged hype groups were at Mama, quite frankly, I feel like they allowed illit to have the Rookie of the Year award because then it would have been obvious that they tweaked things to make sure that illit doesn't win anything. Okay, so this age of blaming hype groups for everything, we are tired. Can we move on? Hype is not the reason, okay? The music just isn't hitting. In fact, maybe it is now because a lot more people are streaming Drip and they like the song, which is not too much of a surprise. But like, you can't be releasing Sheesh and what's the other song? Is it Click Clack? Tic Tac? I don't know what that song is, okay? And somehow expect to be awarded Rookie of the Year. That's not how that works. Okay, some of you are trying so hard to be in the hype is obsessed with our faves conversation, and it's getting old. Let's move on. And that's just about it I have to say for this episode. I am exhausted. K-pop stans exhaust me. But you know what? It's nice I've been able to sit down and just talk to you and give you guys my unfiltered thoughts on certain things that are happening in K-pop. Make sure that you drop your suggestions in the form that I've put in the comment section. I was going to put in the description box, but I don't know what is with YouTube viewers and their personal hatred for description boxes. So it's going to be in the pinned comment, and ask me a question there if you'd like, and I will try to make sure that I get to it in the next episode, which will be on the 9th of April. Until then, I will see you guys on the next one. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.
Hey, this is Cheryl. Leave a message.
Extra.